Welcome to our live session at Tutorac. In this particular session, we are going to talk about Java as a programming language. So we're going to talk about Java as a programming language. So what we're going to do mostly is that in this particular session, Java as a programming language is going to be discussed. Now, this language has been a very popular language since a very, very long time, right? You might have seen the name of Java even if you're not a person who is associated with the IT industry. So in this particular video, we are going to talk about some fundamentals around Java, how Java has changed my life, and I might also be able to take a few questions in case if you have any. So those are the kind of activities that I will be trying to deliver in this particular video. Now let's try to talk about Java as a programming language. It is an object-oriented programming language and it is very intensively used in the industry. Because it is object-oriented in nature, of course, it follows all the important object-oriented properties. In case if you are new to programming, let me just tell you a little bit about object-oriented properties. So there are a few object-oriented properties that are associated with something called as object-oriented programming languages, which include properties like inheritance, polymorphism, and encapsulation, and other relevant properties. So these are mostly the pillars of any object-oriented programming language. One thing that sets Java apart is that it is a very platform independent programming language. So the kind of things that it can do is it can run on any platform by just asking you to code once. So it has something called as middleman is what we can say, which what it does is as soon as you write your code into your computer and as soon as you start to compile it, it converts your Java code into something called as bytecode. And after this bytecode conversion is done, this bytecode is so primitive that it can run across any operating system and any platform. You might see Java as an operating system or Java as a programming language being used in your air conditioners, being used in your washing machines, being used in the simplest of mobile applications. If I ask you to date back a few years ago, probably when smartphones were not a thing, during those days, do you remember touchscreen phones? Like companies like Samsung would create, or any other major company would create touchscreen phones when Android and iOS were not a thing. During those days, they would try to create their operating systems in Java. If you opened a game in a phone like, let's say, Samsung Champ, you might see a Java logo, which is a coffee mug, before that game would actually load itself. And these are the type of things that has established the relevance of Java in the industry. Even today, you might be working with the biggest and biggest of firms, but the relevance of Java still prevails. No matter what company you're working in, you might find at least one team working with Java. And one of the biggest reasons why that is happening most of the time is Java happens to be a very verbose and strong programming language. It allows you or it gives you a lot of time and it gives you a lot of strength to the code that you write. And most importantly, it is a very fast programming language as well. It is usually tackled or said about it in the industry that Java is not that fast as compared to C++, etc., which is definitely true. But even that being the point, it is still preferred over C++ because it has so many internal APIs and because of its platform independent nature. One of the more or another interesting thing about Java is the community support. Today with Java, you are mostly capable of creating one of the or few of the strongest systems. Have you ever wondered how your net banking works? Whether you're from any banking, whether you're any banking customer, whether SBI, HDFC, Axis, etc., etc. If you go deeper inside their banking systems, you might find Java at multiple locations. If you go into multiple programming or money-related websites, you might even see Java over there. So the kind of security that Java can provide is really, really good. Moreover, Java is also very popular in terms of desktop application development. There are so many internal modules that are present in Java programming language that can help you with a lot of application development in case if you want to pursue that as your career. So that is also another thing that Java can really help you with. Another amazing point that I really like about Java is that if you actually do know Java well, it's going to be extremely easy for you and you'll find yourself very flexible whenever you have a requirement to move to a different programming language. So these are some small things that really make Java really an amazing programming language. So no matter what concepts you're studying, you might be able to see that the concept you studied in Java is the same concept that other programming languages might also be using. Sometimes even the syntax or even the words will be same. So that is a very strong advantage that you actually get when you learn Java. From my personal experience, if I tell you how my experience with Java has been, there are so many programming fundamentals that I've learned from Java as a programming language, which really help me program very well in other programming languages as well. Because it does establish that strong fundamental concepts and principles in my mind, which has really helped me excel as a software engineer in my career. And in Tutorac, I have personally tried to basically make sure that all these relevant concepts are delivered to you as the important concepts that you should have as your foundation so that you can also be a great programmer in Java as a programming language. Many of you might be watching this very video from your Android phone. And let's talk about the deep history of Android. Java has been definitely be a big player. If anybody who is watching this in the audience has seen or has worked with Android or has done a deep dive into how Android as an operating system works or how you can develop your own applications with Android, you might have seen Java coming up so many times. Working with Android Studio, working with anything which is related with Android application development, especially the native application development, you will see Java. If not Java, you will see Kotlin, which is again, a kind of a more modern version of Java. The main motive or my main purpose of trying to tell you so many things about Java right now is I want to just establish this mindset for you that you understand that Java is a really, really relevant programming language right now. Even though so many other programming languages are emerging, which are doing really great in their fields, Java is still holding that position as a strongholder. Java today is currently owned by Oracle, and many things that Oracle actually uses and runs are happening in Java. Most of the finance related work happening in a bank or any major stock investment company happens in Java. In my current job also, I have programmed in Java. And like I've said, Java in general helps me to understand these concepts really, really well. Sometimes it can be really challenging to learn Java because, like I said, for a beginner, it can be too overwhelming because of so many concepts, something over here, something over there. There are too many things to remember. Something very simple can be data types. Too many things so to Java remember. Is one of the programming. Something very many things to remember. Something very simple can be data types. Too many things so to Java remember. Is one of the programming. Something very many things to remember can be data and asks you to use data types. And therefore, this might be a little bit challenging for somebody who is new to programming. But again, the main reason why learning these things would be important would be that the concepts that would be established in your head would be so strong and nice that you would want to use these concepts even in those programming languages that don't put these restrictions on you. So that is the most biggest advantage of learning Java. Today with Java, you can create few of the strongest and more secure backend systems using technologies like Spring Boot and Drop Wizard. You can use Java to create serverless applications in things like AWS and Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud Platform. You can use Java to create your authentication systems. You can use Java to actually create more secure systems. You can use Java for data analysis. You can use Java for machine learning also. Today, Java has multiple applications, and even today, the biggest applications of Java remain the legacy systems that a lot of companies are using. Today, right now, if we talk about the industry market demand of Java, it is extremely high because most companies are trying to migrate from their current Java systems or maybe systems in any other programming language to newer modern Java technologies. And trust me when I say this, there are a lot of companies that are working on Java code which is old and is requiring to be moving to a newer Java tech stack. So that is there for sure. So this is one of the major fields where Java developers can really land really good jobs in the industry as of now. More so over, you can also use Java for Android programming. You can also use Java for serverless applications, and it runs absolutely fine. Even beyond that, even if you are trying to create a system that doesn't really necessarily run on a computer, you might be creating IoT based systems. You might be creating maybe a small application for your other hardware program. Maybe you're trying to develop a new kind of device which needs some sort of programming associated with it. You can still use Java over there. Maybe you want to develop simplest of softwares to provide user interface to your end customer. You can still go ahead and get it done with Java. Java has immense community support, so no matter what problem you're stuck in, you will always find it in Java. Next thing that I really want to talk about is, and one of the few things about Java that I really love the most is, Java is an evolving programming language. Because of this, what happens? because it is evolving in nature, you always find new concepts inside Java that are incoming into Java. Because of these new concepts, Java is also evolving, and because of this evolution, you will be able to use more modern programming that has been introduced in the last few years in your favorite programming language like Java as well. Few of the things that I have seen is probably some interesting concepts coming from languages like Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, etc. These important, or these fun to use and easy to use concepts have now started to come inside Java as well. So that is one of the very big reasons why I really fancy Java. And here's a video, which is why I'm doing it on Java. So this was a small brief intro, or kind of like a small perspective that I wanted to deliver to you in terms of Java. Now let's go ahead and see in case if you have any questions that I can take before I move ahead and talk more about Java today. So I see one question that is coming, and somebody has asked me, why are we specially talking about Java? One of the reasons why we are specially talking about Java is related with its current demand in the industry. For example, like after this video is over, let's say you go to LinkedIn and open any major company's job portfolio and look at the jobs. Okay, you will find at least one line that talks about proficiency in Java is required. If not Java is, if not only Java is present, you will find other languages like C++, C Sharp, Java, etc. What I want to say is that as long as you're looking out for a software engineer position, you will see Java at a lot of places, which is a very strong factor or indicator of how Java happens to be one of the stronger players in the industry right now. So this is one of the reasons why we're talking about Java. More so over cementing or coming back to the points that I have already mentioned in the past, that Java is very intensively used and so many things are happening inside Java, and there are so many applications that you can actually do with Java. Because of these reasons, why we are especially talking about Java. So this, I hope this particular point answers your question. Let's move to any more questions in case if we have. So I see one more question that tells me, how does a Java developer handle pointers? Okay, it's a very interesting question. To answer this question, or to make sure that you understand the answer to this question, you might need a little bit of technical knowledge of programming. So if we talk about programming languages like C++ or C, in these programming languages, there are two types of ways in which a person or a developer can access variables. So whenever you actually do create a variable, the memory associated with that variable is actually stored in the computer. So it is called as reference. So let's say you actually declared an integer type variable and you placed its value as 5. So let's say you wrote int num equals 5, which means you're trying to create an integer type variable whose name is num and whose value is 5. As soon as you do this in a C++ or C-like language, what would happen is that your computer will internally start to store this value 5 inside a memory location, and whatever is the address to this memory location, that is what your variable will remember. So this is called as reference. Now, whenever we talk about in a language like C++ and Java, the developer has the freedom to actually make use of the value of that variable or the reference of that variable. The developer always has this control. But in programming languages like Java and many other programming languages, Java usually does not have this control. Java will segregate this kind of situation into two parts. It will see whether the type of the variable is primitive or non-primitive. If it is a primitive type information, then it's always going to do it in the pass by value fashion. That means it is always going to consider the value of the variable. Otherwise, it's going to use a reference. That is whatever memory location inside which the variable is currently present. So this is how Java actually tries to handle the situation. But in C++, again, the developer will have complete control over it, so they can use the value or the reference as and when they require it. So let's move towards the next question. Why Tutorac can be a potential space to learn Java? I think Tutorac can be one of the nicer options to learn Java, because in Tutorac there is a possibility for you to have live interactions with your mentor. So if you have live interaction option available with your mentor, you can definitely have a very personalized experience from your mentor, so that you can also go to your mentor and ask one-on-one questions as and when you find yourself confused, or as and when you require any more guidance and path showing. So these are some of the important things that are present in our platform as Tutorac, which can really help you learn Java in a nice way. And given how many concepts there are to learn in a programming language like Java, which can really help you elevate your career as a software engineer, these small things about Tutora can really help you elevate and understand Java in a way that it is meant to be understood, and therefore cementing your knowledge and concepts on Java as a programming language. So that is one very interesting way how Tutora can help you learn Java in a nice way. I think we have some more questions. So let's go ahead and talk about more of these questions. There is one more question that says, what are the learnings one can learn or one can get from this Java course? So this Java course tries to focus mostly on basic concepts on Java and some advanced concepts of Java as well. So you will learn very basic programming related with Java, how to write your very first code in Java, and what are the fundamentals of this language, what every word would mean in Java, what are static and non-static variables, how do conditional programming work. So all the fundamentals of programming in general, and how does that programming work in Java as a programming language. So you will find all of these things and you will be able to learn all of these things. Moreover, we have also tried to expand it and learn some more interesting concepts on Java, which would include something like collections, which is extremely important part of Java as long as you want to make very big and verbose systems in Java as a programming language. So we have also tried to cover collections. We have also tried to cover multi-threading. We have also tried to cover database connectivity. We have also tried to cover Swing, which is for desktop application development. So there are so many fundamental and important things that we have covered inside this Java course that can really help you understand Java as a programming language, so that you can find yourself in a position that you can understand this language well, and as and when any assignment is given to you, you will be able to understand the assignment and at least write some code which makes sense. Okay, and that is probably the most important thing that you can do after you have learned a programming language. So that is the main purpose. In this particular programming course that I have created, you will also find a lot of exercises, and these exercises can be used, or it is going to act as a medium for you to actually help you understand language even in a better fashion. These will mostly include small programming related exercises and small exercises that are related with the concepts that we are learning in Java related with multi-threading, database connectivity, and desktop application development using Swing. So there are so many interesting things that we have tried to cover. It would be really my pleasure in case if you go to our website and try to check it out. So yep, let's go ahead and see what more questions we have. So we have one more question which goes on like this. Can you explain the differences between interfaces and abstract classes in Java and when to use each? Well, that is a very, very interesting question. And to be honest, I have been asked this question multiple times in an interview as well. So even though I'm not exactly on an interview, it's still giving that flavor of that interview. But let's try to talk about what is the difference between an abstract class and an interface. So do you remember when we just started this live video, we talked about properties of object-oriented programming. One of these properties is called as abstraction, and interfaces and abstract classes, they both are related with abstraction property of object-oriented programming language. In Java, we can achieve abstractions in two fashion. One is by using abstract classes and one is by using interfaces. To understand my explanation of the differences between these two, a slight amount of technical knowledge is required. So let's talk about abstract class first. Then abstract class is just like a class, but with some special properties. One of the things about this abstract class is you can't initialize an object out of this abstract class. So that is one thing. Secondly is that inside an abstract class, you can have a few abstract functions. Now, what is an abstract function? An abstract function is a function that does not have a body. Okay, an abstract function is a function that does not have a body. Now, what is really a function? A function is just a small piece of code that declares what is the name of the function, what is the return type of the function, what are the arguments of the function, and what the function is going to do. So these are the small properties of functions that are present in a normal function. But in an abstract function, we have the return type, we have the function name, we have the argument list, but we don't have the function body. This is called as an abstract function. And every class that actually inherits this abstract class, that class will have to define the abstract function of the abstract class according to its own use case. For example, let's say you created an abstract class called vehicle, and then you want to actually create a class called car. Now, because car is actually a vehicle, so you can make your vehicle as an abstract class and make sure that your car class actually inherits your vehicle class. Now, let's say inside your vehicle class, which is an abstract class in nature, you can create an abstract function. Now, let's say this abstract function's name is, let's say, number of wheels. Okay, number of wheels. So in case of a car, it has to be 4. But let's say in case of a two-wheeler or in case of a motorcycle, it is going to be 2, right? So on the basis of the type of vehicle which is actually inheriting this abstract class, you can actually control or modify the code which is present inside the abstract functions body. So this is what an abstract class is about. So an abstract class can also contain non-abstract members, which is functions which are non-abstract in nature and variables that are non-abstract in nature. Whereas an interface is a different kind of a thing. It is also very similar to a class, but it only and only contains abstract members. It is always and always only going to contain only abstract functions which don't contain any abstract or which don't contain any function body. So let's say if we talk about interfaces, and if our vehicle was not a class but was an interface, then you will implement this interface into your car class. And once you have actually implemented this interface, Java as a programming language is gonna insist on you that you actually implement or write the function bodies of these functions that are present inside the interface. And the same thing is going to happen in case of an abstract class inheritance. So this is the major difference. That is, inside an abstract class, there can be abstract and non-abstract members, but in interface, only and only abstract members are there. So this is the major difference between both of them. Let's go ahead and see in case if we have any more questions. Okay, so looking at the next question, I see, what is the scope of Java in the modern tech industry given a lot of new and modern technologies exist? So definitely a lot of new and modern technologies have come into existence, but like I've told previously also, Java is still trying to maintain its relevance, because even though a lot of new technologies are present, Java also has its own alternative of all of these newer technologies. For example, if I try to compare Java with Node.js or Django in terms of backend development, Java has its own flavor of it called Spring Boot. Java has its own strong hold in terms of native Android application development that technologies or relevant newer technologies like cross-platform application development like Flutter or React Native might not be able to deliver as efficiently as Java might be able to do that. The same things are also true with security systems and making sure that your code is bug-free. So there are some scenarios like this which make sure that Java still holds its relevance inside the industry. One more important thing is, because Java is an older programming language, the amount of skill that is available in the market is very, very large, because of which it is very easily available, and there are a lot of systems that are made on this technology using Java. Because of this, a lot of companies want to hire engineers who actually know Java beforehand so that they can work on their technologies. And also because Java happens to be one of these languages that help you understand any other programming language as long as you know Java well, that information is also known to companies, because of which they promote people who know Java. Many a times you might, one interesting fact, many a times if you're attending an online assessment of a company, the recruiter might actually request you to write code in Java. That is the amount of scope and the amount of hold Java has on the current industry right now. So even though Python exists, JavaScript exists, TypeScript exists, R exists, Rust exists, and many other languages exist, and all of them have their own relevance and importance, but Java also has its own relevance and importance in a year like 2024. Let's move to few more questions. I'm a non-IT person, but I want to learn Java. What should I do? Okay, so there are so many things that you can do right now. So let's say if you're a non-IT person, I'm assuming you might not have a lot of information in relation with programming. So you might want to learn at least one programming language. And trust me, Java is one of the nicer options when it comes to somebody who wants to learn their first programming language. Whenever somebody asks me, Shantanu, I'm very new to programming, and according to you, what language I should learn? I always suggest them, you should go ahead with C++ or Java. And because Java happens to be more relevant in the industry, I always try to insist on people learning Java only. So you can definitely start learning Java. Now, the main question is, how can I start learning Java? So I think mostly it comes down to personal preferences of how somebody's learning pattern is. You can learn by books, you can learn by watching videos, you can learn by taking up a course, you can learn by reading blogs on the internet or free articles on the internet. So many ways are there. So right now we really don't have any lack of medium of learning. Right now, the only main concern that you might have is choosing the right medium for you to learn. One of the best ways or one of the best reasons to actually prefer an online course is it is very structured in nature, and it gives you all the information you require in one place. So in case if you can afford it, I would prefer you can take up an online course and try to learn Java through that. Okay, so I think we have spoken a lot, but we still have some time left. So let's go ahead and see some more questions in the chat box. I see that somebody has mentioned, I don't have basic knowledge also about Java. Will Tutorac help me to learn from scratch? Of course. So in Tutorac's Java course, we have personally tried to craft the very basic knowledge of Java as a programming language and have slowly tried to climb the stairs in terms of difficulty so that you can start to understand advanced concepts of Java as well. So we will start by understanding what are primitive data types, and we will start to understand what is conditional programming, that is how to use if else and switch case, etc, etc. And then we will slowly try to progress into understanding some more complex data structures, and then we will progress on learning multi-threading like systems and database connectivity and so on and on. Trust me, almost half of this course, if studied by you, you would know more about Java than most people would. But in case if you're able to finish it, that is going to add to a lot of value to your knowledge towards Java, which can help you a lot in terms of you getting a software development engineering job. Okay, let's move to one more question. How to join Tutorac Java course? Will I get personal assistance? Of course, all you need to do is to come to our platform and choose the right tutor for you to actually help you with learning Java. Or you can also go ahead and try to see or you can also go ahead and try to see the internal Java courses that we have in-house in Tutorac and see if that actually works out for you. We also have a lot of demo sessions for tutors that are available for us at Tutorac. You can actually take a demo session and see if their style of teaching fits with you or their delivery style fits with you. And in case if you see everything is okay, you can definitely go ahead and make yourself an enrollment. So these are some basic steps that can actually help you a lot in terms of learning Java with us at Tutorac. Okay, let's move towards a few more questions. I want to connect for a one-on-one training with you. How do I contact you? Okay, so I am personally going to launch my own Java course on Tutorac. So in case if you find it interesting, you can definitely schedule a one-on-one session with me if you're enrolled into that course. Otherwise, we can connect over LinkedIn, or maybe we can also connect over my TalkMate link. And I think we have the last question for today. C++ or Java, the better language? Well, it's a very strong question, to be honest. And this is one question that I have answered many times. To be honest, I think it's very difficult to compare two programming languages. So my answer is gonna be completely on the basis of my experience. So when I was younger and when I was still in college, I was very new to programming and I was introduced to it in my college days only. So my programming introduction mostly happened with languages like C and C++, and I could see a lot of people working and coding in C and C++. I also tried to learn C and C++, and I tried to learn it to an extent. And after learning it to an extent, I felt like that I was not able to learn it so well that I could program on my own. For a very long time, I felt like maybe I need to drop programming as a career option because I'm just not good at programming in general. And of course, I was young and I thought C++ was the end game of it all, unless I moved to Java. And after moving to Java, here I am talking about a YouTube discussion on Java. So in general, if you look into it, if we talk about career perspective and stuff like that, I think Java has a slight lead over C++. Not a lot of companies use C++, but career opportunities that are available in C++ are usually very highly paid, but they're extremely limited in number as well. Java, on the other hand, expands to a lot of opportunities and also pays you fairly well in the industry. Secondly, I think Java happens to be a better language is because of the type of applications you can do with Java. C++ is slightly more primitive than Java, so it is faster than Java, and you can use C++ for more intricate computer programming level instructions. But on a very high level, I think Java happens to be more application friendly and helps a developer to actually code in a more simpler and nicer way. So that's my personal experience by using both C++ and Java. And yep, and I think I hope that helps you understand the difference between C++ and Java. So yep, that's pretty much it from my side for this video. And I really hope that you all understood and understood the importance of Java that I tried to convey in this YouTube live video. And we will be hosting a lot of more live videos on this channel. So I hope you would be able to come back to this channel and enjoy those videos as well. Until then, stay connected with us at Tutorac.